They are best understood by examining their geography and their history, which can be divided into three broad timelines. The pre-classic period lasted for about 2,000 years, beginning around 1800 before the Common Era. At the beginning, they were relatively small and isolated wandering groups. They slowly mastered agriculture and established settlements that grew in size and spanned multiple generations. Somewhere along this timeline, much larger settlements emerged. They may have been helped by speaking a common language initially, Proto-Mayan. They eventually established societies so large that they became city-states. These included the beginnings of the great sites at Copan, Palenque, and Tikal, as well as lesser-known ones such as El Mirador and Huachatun. In a relatively short time, tremendous progress was made in the fields of mathematics, astronomy, architecture, engineering, and writing. This progression could not have happened without the emergence of political leaders to orchestrate the massive effort involved. Building on these achievements, the Maya rose to the cultural peak of their civilization, which lasted about another 700 years, the Classic period. Art and science flourished during this timeline, but they may have become too successful for their own good. Already an extinct language, Proto-Mayan had diversified to become the Mayan languages that are still spoken today. While they were able to support very large city-states, up to hundreds of thousands of people in some cases, this very achievement also made the Maya vulnerable. They had become insular, competing societies. Along with their achievements came perhaps complacency and a sense of invincibility. This led to war among the city-states throughout the Classic period. In the 10th century, something changed. The details, which we will examine later, are still debated. But we know that the Maya Empire began to decline. This was the post-Classic period, from around the middle of the 10th century until the arrival of the Spanish almost 600 years later. The Maya lived in three broad areas. The northern lowlands covered much of the Yucatan Peninsula, while the southern lowlands covered the El Petén region of northern Guatemala, bordering parts of Mexico, Belize, western Honduras, and western El Salvador. The southern highlands covered most of southern Guatemala and southeastern Mexico. Due to the distances between them, as well as the topography of these regions, some Maya groups would have had more mutual contact than others. But we can see that far from being a unified, united people, the Maya should be viewed as multiple peoples, inhabiting multiple regions, in conditions of both cooperation and conflict. This reality makes it all the more remarkable that they were so successful and left behind such a rich and impressive legacy.